What's up my dudes, it's Ansu. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do 7 on Sunday. First off, there's a fan in the background because it's extremely hot and I'm kind of dying in here, so it's gonna remain switched on. I apologize if it's too loud. 7 on Sunday was created by G Swizzle Books. She always says G Swizzle, but I keep forgetting her name. I believe it is Grace. She has a wonderful channel, by the way. She's so fucking creative. It's ridiculous. But anyway, basically every single Sunday you are going to have a topic where you talk about 7 things in that particular topic. Now here's the issue. I'm not very good at keeping tabs on books. I tend to forget the characters. I tend to forget things that I liked or disliked about every single book. So this is gonna be quite hard, but I'm still taking part in it because I needed new ideas. Anyway, this week's topic was books that make you angry. When I was trying to compile this list, I was like, I don't have any books that I genuinely hated or I'm gonna talk really badly about. I didn't think I was gonna have it, but then I started making the list and I realized very quickly that I did have a pretty decent list. So let's get into it. The first book I'm gonna get out of the way because you probably already knew about it. I've been ranting about it for a little while at this point. So it is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. If you didn't know, this is a widely popular book and I genuinely hated it. There is cheating involved and Anna is an outright bitch who has a lot of friends, which I don't think she should. Yeah, so Anna is a horrible character. The love interest that she has, Etienne, is also another horrible character. And they are probably made for each other, but this romance was just not it for me. Don't get me wrong, I love romances, I love contemporary fiction, and there's a ton that like melts me down into a mush and I would really die for those characters, but this one just was not it. Okay, so this one follows around Anna, who is from America and she's going to boarding school in France. She hates the fact that she's being forced to go there. She does not want to do this because, well, it wasn't her choice. And once she gets there, she doesn't know anything about French, right? She's never spoken it. She doesn't know anything about the language. She thought the word oui was spelled as W-E-E. How fucking ignorant are you? I was stunned when I read it. I didn't know how to react when I read that. I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know if you were joking, if that was supposed to be a joke. She gets to France and then she has a horrible first day there. So she gets this friend, Mare, who's very sweet to her. Through that friend circle, she quickly realizes that Etienne is a really hot guy who has a girlfriend, and also Mare has a crush on Etienne. She knows this. She perfectly knows this. But no, she doesn't give a fuck. She starts to fall for Etienne, which is fair, like it could happen to anybody. She falls for him, and then it's quickly this thing where she's almost very possessive of this guy who she's not even dating, and she really wishes that Etienne's real girlfriend at that point basically dies. Like, she wants that girl to die, and I'm just like, you have no reason to be so possessive of Etienne because you don't own him in any way. And that sort of possessiveness, like, I understand if you were his girlfriend and then you were that possessive, I get it. But you had nothing to do with him and you were acting like a bitch. And also she was acting like a bitch to her friends. And I could rant about this book forever, but I'm just going to keep moving on because you've probably heard me talk about this too much already. So let's go on. Okay, this one is a widely popular book and I feel like a lot of people are going to hate me for this. But I'm still going to talk about it because apparently I hate myself. I'm going to talk about The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I read this, I think, last year, and it was so hyped up on BookTube. It's a beautiful cover, which is why I'm not letting it go, because I love this cover. I feel like one of my best Bookstagram pictures was with this book, and I adore that picture so much. So I don't feel like getting rid of it just because of that reason. So by this point, I don't really remember what exactly happened in the book, but we have this girl, Alice, who is about 17 years old, and her mother kind of goes missing, and the one advice that her mother told her was to not go to her grandmother's place, which is in this very creepy foresty area, and the grandmother's also an author of weird dark fairy tales. Yeah, so Alice does not care about what her mother told her because she wants to ensure that her mom's safe, and she goes in search of her mother and ends up actually going to the Hazelwood. The Hazelwood is such a messed up place. Like, I don't even know what the hell is happening there for half the book. It's always like people are getting abducted, and I don't know, it was just such a weird book that I didn't know what was going on for the half of it, and I just didn't see the hype in it. I don't know. I couldn't really find the plot line anywhere, and I was just searching for it pretty much the entire book, could not find it. It was not the greatest book in my opinion. I didn't really like it that much, so yeah, don't come after me. I'm just going to be talking about very popular books, aren't I? The next one I'm going to talk, I actually have copies of, but I think I stashed it in my garage somewhere. It is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I know a lot of people love this book, and I feel like I can understand why people like it. The storyline, the assassin-esque storyline, is really fun. But the one thing that you'll quickly see, the assassin character has like a shadow, and it's called like a cat or something, and literally every 2 seconds that is mentioned. Did you know it looked like a cat? It walked like a cat. It's behind her like a cat. Cat. And also there was like a shit ton of footnotes. Footnotes, I feel like, are the bane of my existence. I hate when there are footnotes involved, and basically the entire story building or like the world building was done in the footnotes. If you didn't read the footnotes, you didn't understand what this world was about. And I found that so annoying, because if you really want me to know about the world, tell me about it in the story. Don't make me read the footnotes, because that's just annoying at this point. I actually DNF'd this book. I think I read about 100 something pages and I kind of quit on it, so I tried, I genuinely did. It was just not for me. And we could see that Mia, the main character, is supposed to be this badass female character, and I just found her a little annoying. I didn't really like her. I know I didn't read the entire book, but there are these metaphors where the little actions that are mentioned are described in such a weird sense. I think one of the dialogues were, not dialogues, but like one of the descriptions was that Mia was trying to control her temper by grabbing it by the earlobe or something. And I was just like, what? That's the dumbest thing I've ever read in my entire life. There's this quote as well. She introduced her boot to his partner's groin, kicking him hard enough to cripple his unborn children. Do you see what I mean? Like, it was so over dramatic, it was so over the top, and it was trying so hard to be this fantastic novel, and it was giving all these weird metaphors and melodrama, which I didn't think was necessary. If you just told me the story as it was and make it just as gory, I would be fine with it. But this is too much gore, this is too much melodrama, and I wasn't buying it. I read like 100 something pages, like I said, and I quit on it. There's no way I'm continuing that story. Next up, this is also a widely popular book. It was Illumination by Amy Kaufman and J. Kristoff. Yes, I don't like J. Kristoff's writing style. I don't think it's for me. That's probably why I didn't like this book either. This one is intensely popular. Everybody and their dog loves this book, and I did not. We have these two characters who in the beginning of the book just broke up. They're in this futuristic world where everything is kind of going into ruins, and they're trying to escape Earth. So they essentially get onto this spaceship thing, which is also an AI, it's an artificial intelligence program thing, and they go into space. And essentially the AI starts to get a mind of its own and starts to control things a lot more. Along the way, these two main characters come to realize that they actually love each other, and they kind of get together. And I don't know, first of all, I didn't buy that romance. That was so dumb. And also the way that the AI character thing sort of changed later was so disturbing. Like, I did not understand why people loved this book so much. I couldn't get it. It was just not for me at all. Reading especially that particular AI development, I was just disturbed. Maybe it's because I don't read sci-fi a lot. That's probably why. I love all types of Marissa Meyer books. Those are my favorite series of all time, and they're sci-fi. So I don't think it's sci-fi. I think it's more the writing style. I just didn't like it. And yeah. Next up, I've actually talked about this pretty recently. It's Flamecaster by Cinda Williams-Chima. A lot of people like her stories. Personally, not for me. There's a stupid ass romance in here which I cannot ever stand by, because it is even faster than Insta-love. They literally met one day, had a healing thing that was going on, and literally the next time they see each other, they're fucking, and they're like, oh my god, I love you so much, I couldn't live without you. The main character was a prince, and he's kind of a runaway prince and is trying to avenge certain things that happened to him in his kingdom. And we have this other female character who, when she was really young, had to witness one of her best friends slash love interest being murdered by the same people who killed the prince's family. This is actually the sequel to the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams-Chima. That was also like pretty much the same sort of. I didn't really love it, but I felt like I could deal with it a little bit more. This one, we have this prince character just traveling so much. Like nothing really happens other than him traveling so much. And most of it is just that traveling. Towards the end, there's this dragon that's involved, and I thought that was a really cool concept, but it came in like the last 10 pages, basically, and I felt like it was so unnecessary. It didn't need to be there. It felt very circumstantial almost, like it was not necessary to just be there for those last few pages. It could have been so much cooler with the dragon, and the whole story could have been condensed a lot more. If it was just this much, it could have been condensed a lot more. Or it could have included the dragon more and extended a little bit. Like, shorten this and extend the dragon part. I thought that would have been more cooler. It wasn't that. It was such a sad letdown for me. Didn't really love it. Maybe it's for some other people, because I know a lot of people love her series, but it just wasn't for me, and I'm definitely not continuing with this one. Let's go with another popular book. It is the first book of the Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. It is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, and I fucking hated it. If you hadn't seen one of my wrap-ups, I did talk about it pretty recently, but holy shit. Okay, so we have this main character, Bryce Quinlan, who is a party girl, right? In the very beginning of the book, Bryce's best friend, who is a part wolf, so this best friend's whole pack ends up dying. So every single person involved in that pack were brutally murdered. They were literally skinned alive. Fast forward a couple of years, we see Bryce as this shell of a person still, and we quickly realize that whatever murder happened to her best friend is restarting again, and we don't know who the murderer is, why they're doing it, or anything. We're trying to solve that mystery. The mystery itself was pretty cool. I liked it. It was the fact that Bryce is a whiny bitch, and she was trying to be this quirky human, which she really was not. Because the main character is part angel. He's, again, perfection, has wings and everything. He's like so good. In this world, most of the characters are immortal, and I say most of them are because sometimes if they don't take the plunge, they are still mortal. Or if they do take the plunge, if you're really stripped off your skin, you can't revive yourself, if that makes sense. Like if you lose a leg, you can get your leg back, like regrow. But if you're like cut up into pieces, you're done, right? Do you see what I mean? So basically this best friend was cut up into pieces and she was shredded to death. Bryce has to live with this horrid situation. She's seen the aftermath of what happened to her best friend, and she's living like a shell. Now, the thing with Sarah J Maas books, every single character has six packs. Doesn't matter who they are. Every single character has perfect skin, perfect hair, perfect bodies, perfect voices. Like everything is so perfect, and I don't know, for this time, I just did not like how much everything was so perfect. And I didn't like the fact that there's a resurrection trope, again, which sucks. Like, if your character dies, let them die. Let them stay dead. Yeah, didn't love it. Next up, talking about another popular book, The Star of the Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I know a lot of people love her writing style. I did enjoy her writing style in this one as well. But where the plot at, bro? Where? So we have our main character, Zachary, who is in college. He's supposed to be this very relatable college kid. And at first, yes, he was that to me. I liked his character. Then it quickly went downhill. We have Zachary, who ends up coming in contact with this particular door when he's really young. And he doesn't end up opening it, even though he feels like there's magical powers in that particular doorway. But he doesn't end up opening it. Fast forward to when he's in college, he comes across this book in his college's library, and there's no barcode on it. He ends up taking it out and reads the entire story, and everything's so fantastical. And he comes across a story about this little boy who comes across his door, which is magical, and he doesn't open it, and he realizes that it was actually him. He tries to figure out if every other story in that book is actually true, because they're all out of the world, and if his story is true, maybe the others are also true. So this one has like not dual perspectives, but like we have Zachary, which is our main perspective, and the other is part of the books that he finds. We have stories from that books which are in here. I personally like reading about the stories than Zachary because I felt the stories were more compelling. We have this character he meets around sometime. His name is Dorian, and Dorian ends up saving Zachary's life. Zachary saves Dorian later, and they have this weird romance. which I didn't see coming. Like, I understand if they were like quickly friends or something, like, dude, you saved my life, you're my best friend now. Like, I get that, but the romance, I didn't see it coming from anywhere. Like, Dorian is also like a rock. He does not have any emotions, and what? By the half of the book, we can see that Zachary does not have a point in staying. Oh, where did he go? Listen, I'm so good at this. Zachary ends up trying to find the Starless Sea, which is this basically the sea, and it's an underground society where they're really trying to save books or something, like really old books, and there are locks and keys and butterflies or something like that. Honestly, I don't even know where the plot is at this point. Zachary goes there. He has no reason to stay there, and he finds the reason in Dorian, and he stays there because of this romance, which I don't understand. He had no point in staying there, and he still does. I don't get it. Like, it made no sense to me why he was there. And then towards the end, there were like multiple perspectives added just for the sake of it. I didn't like it. I was so confused as to why that perspective was added. There was no use for it, and I feel like it was kind of a waste of time, unfortunately. I still like the writing style, so if you really are a diehard fan of the Night Circus, you might like this one, because yes, the writing style is still very whimsical, but where the plot at? Who knows? Alright, you guys, those were the 7 books that I was pretty disappointed by. I feel like this was more of a disappointment list rather than books that made me really angry, other than just one book. I did make a similar video. Do send it my way on Twitter so I can also check that out. I post very frequently on this channel. I'll see you guys next time, and until then, I'll talk to you guys in the comments. Bye!